like to call the regular village board meeting of East Dundee to order, August 4th, 6 o'clock. Roll call, please.
Trustee Kunze? Present. Trustee Mahoney?
Here.
Trustee Oakland?
Here.
Trustee Guma?
Here.
Trustee Sauter?
Here.
Trustee Saviano is absent, and President Pearson.
Here. All right, let's stand and do the pledge of allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. All right, we have people for public comment.
Yes.
Keep in mind that with public comment, nobody here has to reply. It's just you're here to do your 5 minutes, and we're going to move on after that.
First person is Mike Morrison of Zambonis.
Mike?
Hello, it's nice to see everybody again. I'm here on behalf of the owners of Zambonis. They were not able to attend today. I would like to review some of the stuff that was discussed at the last meeting concerning the gaming licenses in East Dundee. The change in the ordinance came in October of '24. The owners of Zambonis purchased the business from the Spartan axe throwing owners prior to that date, and your village manager, village president, previous to Dan, reviewed the plans for Zambonis and approved the plans for the Zambonis with village officials aware that we were looking to put 6 machines into our bar. It was approved, everything was good, deal was done. An ordinance change happened in October after the deal was done with our business and Spartan axe throwing. I'd like that consideration to be there for us to be an exception for the ordinance for Zambonis, but I'd also like to point out that there are several businesses in this town who operate gaming machines, and the owners might not be interested in staying in business into their golden years, and they might be looking to sell their businesses, and part of the value of the business is the revenue that comes into that business through all sorts of things, gaming being one of them. I heard some of the trustees discuss that there are establishments in this community that do not have gaming. It's not part of their business plan. I understand the choices that people make. When we're limited in that choice by an ordinance that came in after the fact of us purchasing the Spartan axe throwing place, kind of makes me wonder, what the purpose was of changing that ordinance, especially after we had decided to go move forward with our business, with the 6 machines being okayed in this village. Now it's got me thinking that some of the comments, though they might be coming from a good place, talking about morality and ethics, and how we don't want this to be a little Las Vegas, I think was one of the comments from the trustees. I certainly don't want to see that. I grew up in Dundee, ran a business in West Dundee for 10 years, grew up in this community, been a big part of this community for a long time. Part of the concerns that were raised were, what sort of value do these businesses have if they're relying on gaming? We're not relying on gaming. It's part of how we will get revenue in, hopefully turn a profit and stay in business for a long time to come. Our goal is to provide a great place for people to go and enjoy themselves, watch a Blackhawks game, have a bite to eat, have a couple drinks, commiserate with friends and neighbors. Same business model, same business plan that I ran at the Chubby Bullfrog in West Dundee for 10 years. At that 10-year mark, we had to shut down our business due to some financial issues caused by the government shutting down businesses with COVID concerns. We fought for 2 years after that to stay in business, and gaming didn't save us. Gaming is not going to be a make it or break it for any business, but it is a part of how we make our revenue. And it was the business plan that this village was aware of when the purchase of Zambonis happened back last year. My concern now is for all the business owners who are getting up in years and maybe not, planning on riding it out until they hit the grave. They might want to plan on selling their businesses for some revenue. And I think it's something that you need to reconsider. You don't want to be Little Las Vegas, but do you want to be Footloose? We're going to shut down dancing. You've got a special day every month called Wine Down Wednesday. Does that promote alcohol? Thirsty Thursday, you're not selling lemonade to the people in this community. So where's the line? As adults, we all have decisions, choices, and I think you should let the adults make their own choices and decisions on what they do. If you're requesting that we put up some additional signage, which is unique to East Dundee, I don't have a problem with that. You want to put up a reminder beyond what the state requires for us to put up as a gambling warning? I don't have an issue with that. We could put that up. That's no concern. But it is a concern that, at least in our case, you moved the goalposts after we purchased our business with you, maybe previous board members, previous president, fully aware of our intentions of having the 6 machines allotted by this village. That changed for us. Since all of this has come to light, we have, spoken with our terminal operator who plans on providing machines for us. And they are going to decline us at 2 machines because it is not worth their investment to put machines in. That's something that wasn't mentioned at the last meeting, but that's going to be a factor for people too. Who's going to service when there's only 2 machines going into these locations? I really do believe that this is a great community. I enjoy Wine Down Wednesday. I enjoy Thirsty Thursday. I've enjoyed growing up in this community, playing hockey at the Polar Dome, being a youth hockey coach here for many years, contributing to many charities. And my business plan with the owners there is to continue to have a community involvement with charitable organizations in our minds. Please don't take away an opportunity for us to reach our goals and fulfill our business plan. Thank you.
Thank you. Next.
Dick Storm.
Who?
Dick Storm.
Dick Storm.
Hi, my name is Richard Storm, or Dick Storm. I don't know where you're at with the Hager property thing, but I've come to a few of the meetings. I just want to bring a couple of things to your attention. I looked on Google. East Dundee has just under 2,000 acres as a town. Our population on Google is 3,100. If you put 400 people into that location, that is less than half of 1% of the total area of our town, and you would be putting 12% of the population into an area that's less than half of 1% of our area. Just want you to be aware of that. Doesn't matter what kind of people you're putting in there, just too much density. That's all I want to say. Thank you.
Thanks, Dick.
Thank you.
Sam Stone
Sam Stone.
of Red Door Tavern Group.
Thank you. I'm Kyle Bagley. I'm Sam Stone. This is Kristen Kopicki. This is Kamen. And we just kind of wanted we plan to acquire the Carroll's Corner Pub. We wanted to give you a little bit of our history, what we're about, kind of provide you our backstory so you get an idea like what we do. We're not developers. We are tavern operators. We currently operate 2 taverns in the city of Chicago, one with a food component, one that is strictly a tavern. And we've taken what were arguably kind of dilapidated properties, and we've breathed new life into them. We've taken them from subpar revenues and losing money to being successful, and we plan to incorporate the same philosophy by making some cosmetic changes. But importantly, we'll make some cultural changes inside too, while keeping the charm that we think is inherent in Carroll's already. So we just wanted to give you an idea that we're people we're not some corporation coming in looking to swing a hammer and change everything. We like what this community is. We like, kind of like what we've been able to do with some of our charitable endeavors, which Kristen will speak to. You know, we just wanted to give you an idea of who we were, present us as people instead of just a group, a corporation. We're not that. We're just, you know, we want to come to here. We want to come to Dundee and East Dundee and do the same things that we've done in Chicago with some success. You know, we think that there's intrinsic charms that exist inside Carroll's, but we think that there's some improvements that can be made. Improvements that, you know, the facade, we plan to make some improvements in there, obviously the interior as well. Make significant improvements to the menu and the offerings in there. Cocktail programs and other things that we think that the community should get behind and find relatively interesting. And we'd be open to speak to anyone personally, so you can get an idea if you would want to come and see what our operations are like in Chicago. We'd be willing to invite you and kind of show you around, squire you around, if you will. I can talk for longer, but I will let Kristen talk about our charitable endeavors. Thank you for your time.
Kristen Kopicki. One of the things that we pride ourselves on in our bars and that we genuinely enjoy doing is working with the community. We've raised for the elementary school that's right around the corner from Cody's over $10,000 with their students. We do an annual lemonade stand that's helped raise money for them. We also work with all the parent groups, and all of this money has helped build a rock climbing wall in their gym, make improvements on their playground, help buy like supplies that the teachers need for the classrooms. So that's something, and we enjoy bonding with those parents and those kids. Like, it's something that the kids come, they say like, hey, how are you guys? Like, what's up? Can I get a Sprite? And we're like, absolutely. Like, we enjoy being part of that community. Another thing that we've done, we've raised over $30,000 now for local different dog charities. We've worked with probably 10 or 12 different ones, and it's very event focused. So we're doing events where we're working with our liquor programs. We're donating sales from our menu to go to this charity, and then we're getting raffle prizes in the whole community. All these dog people, all the people that are in the bar, they're donating to this raffle, to this charity. In every event, we've raised over $2,500, and the people like that, the charity is obviously like that, and it just makes us feel good, and it makes people want to continue to like come around us. So that's something that we would want to continue with Carol's, because we like what you guys are doing with the community, and we want to be a part of it. Yeah. We'll move on to Sam.
Yeah, Sam Stone, very nice to meet you, and thank you for your time. I guess I just really want to briefly talk about kind of some of the changes we want to make with Carol's. I think it's kind of, the aesthetics kind of not been taken care of, you know. Actually, one of the staff members there sent me a picture from 1961 of how the building looked. It was really good. So I just want to make sure, you know, when we talk about making improvements, we definitely want to keep the historic charm in mind. And again, it's right off the main street, so it's kind of an eyesore right now. We want to make sure it looks good. Just the inside as well, we want to make it warm and welcoming, and the apartments need upgrades. And I know we were talking about the gaming earlier. We understand that is that we might be getting the number of games reduced. I would stress that in order to make these improvements on our timeline, then we would need the gaming would really help with that. Otherwise, we're talking about pushing our timeline down with regards to making the improvements and making it not an eyesore as it is right now. That's all.
My name's Allie Kamen. You know, amongst the four of us and everyone involved, I mean, we've got like 100 years in this industry altogether. But I just wanted to highlight too, you know, my husband and I, we actually don't live in Chicago anymore. We both have experience there, but also have experience working and running businesses out of the city, out of the suburbs. We're a little bit further west, but it's been really wonderful to experience how businesses run in small communities like this. And I just want to assure everyone that not only do we as people operate as families, from family vacations literally last weekend to weddings and things like that, just being family oriented, being community oriented, like Kristen was talking about, giving back to the communities, it's really important to us, and very much is a big part of how business is operated for us. So, you know, even to kind of piggyback on previous comments, you know, the liquor industry, including the gaming industry, you know, there's a lot of facets to that, and there's a lot that goes into running successful businesses within those industries. And we're aware of that, and we take that responsibility very seriously. So it would definitely be at the forefront of everything we would hope to bring to Carroll's to reinvigorate it, and not to, you know, if anyone has any concerns that we're like trying to be Chicago, like bring Chicago to East Dundee, that's not, as they've all said too, that's not the idea. We're here for a reason. We're interested in partnering with the town and being an asset to the town. So yeah, we're just happy to be here and happy to get to know more business owners and hopefully continue a great partnership into the future.
Thank
Thank
you.
you.
Thank
Welcome to East Dundee, and we look forward to working with you.
Thank you.
Thank you so much.
Anyone else?
Jamie Mueller of Rosie O'Hare's.
Hi, yes. I'm just reiterating what I said on July 21st when I was here about the video gaming. I was not aware that there was ordinance that passed in October of 2024. I don't know what went behind that, and so I don't know if that can get changed. Are we up here just kind of, like, is there any way that there's going to be another vote or anything?
Well, right now, it's just, it's an ordinance that's in place.
Okay,
So there can be in the future,
okay, all right. Because I know that we're going to be selling next year probably. And I know, you know, Carroll's Corner already, Riverlee's, Calendo's. Yeah, I mean, so it's affecting a lot of us, and I just wanted to come here to say that, you know, because I don't rely on the video games, but they're a lot of fun. Now, I never play them, but people love to go by, and they're not losing a lot of money. I don't understand that part, where I'm like, you know, nobody has a gun to their head. They can go and play if they want, but we have a lot of people that don't play them. But then we have a lot of people that like to relax, have a drink, go in there and try. They're not in there like all day long. They're just in there for a little entertainment and then they leave. You know, so I guess I'm not seeing the negative. So that's all I wanted to say. Thank you.
thank you.
And that's all.
All right. Thank you, everyone. We'll move on to our consent agenda. I'll entertain a motion to accept any agenda.
Yeah. I will move to approve the regular village board meeting minutes dated July 21st, 2025. I will also move to approve executive session meeting minutes dated February 17th, 2025, April 21st, 2025, June 2nd, 2025, and June 16th, 2025. I will move to accept the warrants list in the amount of $147,685.24. I will move to approve an ordinance rezoning properties to the M1 district for the properties located at 1051 East Main Street, 1061 East Main Street, 1077 East Main Street, 1141 East Main Street, and 1097 East Main Street. I'll also move to approve a resolution authorizing execution of a purchase and sale agreement between the Village of East Dundee and East Dundee Commercial LLC. And I will move to approve an ordinance amending Village Code 116 alcoholic beverages to reduce the number of Class E1 licenses for La Hacienda.
Second.
Okay, any discussion? No?
Good.
Roll call.
Trustee Coonsey?
Yes.
Trustee Mahoney?
Yes.
Trustee Oakland?
Yes.
Trustee Guma?
Why are we reducing the E1 licenses for La Hacienda? Did they withdraw or?
They are
They
withdrawing
don't
their
want it.
license, and whenever somebody doesn't want their license again, they get, the number is reduced. We always have exactly how many licenses we have is the maximum we can have, so that we can always review new ones.
Okay. Yes.
Trustee Sauter?
Yes.
Okay. Moving on to other agenda items. Discussion and direction regarding the request for proposals submitted for 110 Railroad Street.
Hi, good evening. I have the pleasure of introducing Andy and Suzanne Burns, owners of Sitewell Inc. Sitewell Inc. is a local real estate developing firm, and they submitted a proposal for the Lumberyard 110 Railroad redevelopments. They're here tonight to present their proposal, answer any questions you have, and outline the overall vision of the project. So with that, I'll hand it over to Andy and Suzanne.
There you go.
Good evening. Thank you for inviting me here tonight. For those I haven't met yet, my name's Andy Burns. I'm the founder of Sitewell. For the last 20 years, my wife Suzanne and I have lived and invested in the Fox Valley. Together we've developed a series of projects, Emmett's Brewing Company, Sinclair Suites, Kildall House, 124 Lofts, all with one purpose, to bring new life and energy to historic downtowns just like this one. We don't just build buildings, we create places people care about, places that matter to their community. That's exactly why we're here tonight, to talk about Heritage Station. This isn't a proposal, it's a vision for the next chapter of East Dundee, a project that combines culture, commerce, and community, all in one block. When I look at this image, I don't just see brick and mortar. I see a plaza alive with people, neighbors catching up after a show. I see families walking along the Fox River Trail, stopping to grab a coffee or an ice cream. I see a block that feels like it belongs here, rooted in the village's history but brimming with new energy. That's the vision for Heritage Station. It's not just a development, it's East Dundee's new civic and cultural heart. Why now? Because the village has been preparing for this very moment for a long time. You've invested in the trails that connect people directly to downtown. You've built infrastructure like the new parking deck that makes it easier for people to come and visit. You've nurtured a downtown that's gaining momentum with businesses and events that draw people here. But what's missing is the centerpiece, the project that ties all of that together and says, this is the cultural and social heart of East Dundee. Heritage Station is designed to be that anchor. So this one block, the former Doderline site, has been underperforming for a while, and here's what we're proposing. Along 3rd Street to the west is Heritage Road. These will be townhomes that bring new homeowners into downtown, people invested in the village for the long term. On Hill Street, towards the south, is the Performing Arts Center, a cultural and civic hub for theater, music, and community events. In the northeast corner, along Railroad and Meyer Streets, is curated retail and hospitality, places that invite people in and keep them engaged. And connecting it all, we have a civic plaza and pedestrian thoroughfare that connects 3rd Street all the way to the new Village Green, activating that space and making this block truly part of the downtown. Architecturally, Heritage Station honors East Dundee's past, but also looks to its future. We'll be using Cream City brick, a material that ties into this block, or ties this block into Dundee's historic past using brick, similar to what was made a couple blocks away 150 years ago. We'll also be introducing a landmark clock tower, something iconic that ties the site to East Dundee's rail heritage and signals you've arrived. Custom storefronts crafted to feel unique and human-scaled, not cookie cutter. And a performing arts center marquee that announces this is the place for culture, entertainment, and civic life. Heritage Station isn't just functional, it's memorable. So why does all of this matter? Because place matters. We've all experienced what happens when a downtown has a beating heart. The farmer's market where families gather week after week. The Christmas Festival of Lights when East Dundee shines as a destination for joy and celebration. Even simple things, canoeing down the Fox River, riding along the bike trail, these become part of the village's story. And Heritage Station builds on that. It creates a place for everyday moments and for special occasions. So here's what the site looks like today. And here's what it can become. We're not building for density's sake. Instead, our objective is intentional, human-scale placemaking. When complete, we'll have a block designed to fit within the fabric of East Dundee, while also breathing new life into its center. I'd like to pivot and talk more specifically about each of the uses that we have programmed. I'll start with Heritage Row. These will be 9 to 12 for-sale townhomes, cream brick row houses with stoops and gables, homes that feel like they've always belonged here. Inside, these homes will feature thoughtful, high-quality finishes designed for buyers who want the character of a historic neighborhood with the convenience of modern living. They're also perfect for lock-and-leave residents, those who love East Dundee but want low-maintenance, high-quality living that allows them the freedom to travel or downsize without compromise. This isn't just housing. It's an invitation for people who are already invested in East Dundee and those who want to be. Next, the rail flats. These will be 5 to 6 apartments that will be located above the commercial retail space. These will be thoughtfully designed, perfect for young professionals, creatives, and right-sizers who want the energy of downtown living without leaving the village. Inside, these flats will offer modern, open-concept layouts with high-quality finishes designed to appeal to today's discerning renters. We'll also be introducing the Station House. These will be 10 boutique lodging units, a locally managed experience for wedding guests, performing arts center patrons, and trail users. Each suite will be designed by the bygone era of rail travel, with warm woods, rich leathers, masculine undertones that feel timeless yet luxurious. But while this is a small footprint property, its impact is big. It thoughtfully draws guests off the interstate and generic cookie-cutter lodging, and it brings them into the heart of East Dundee, where they can experience our restaurants, our events, and small businesses. It's a place where design nods to East Dundee's rail heritage while delivering the comforts and finishes today's boutique traveler expects. This turns East Dundee into a place people not only visit, but stay. The depot shops will offer about 6,000 square feet of curated space. This isn't about just filling vacancy, it's about curating an experience that strengthens downtown East Dundee. We envision a small dessert shop, perhaps a boutique wine or cheese shop, maybe a pottery studio or an artisan collective where local artists can feature and sell some of their work, perhaps a small clubby rail-themed cocktail bar directly connected to the Station House lobby, an intimate spot for guests and locals to unwind. These are small, carefully chosen operators that draw people downtown, complement existing businesses, and add reasons for visitors and residents to linger longer and spend more. And at the heart of it all, the Performing Arts Center, an 8,000 square foot black box venue designed in partnership with a regional nonprofit operator through a lease-to-own arrangement. This is a right-sized, multi-use space for performances, classes and workshops, and community events. The design will feature flexible seating, professional-grade acoustics, and a welcoming lobby that spills into the Civic Plaza, turning every performance into a downtown event. And importantly, audiences don't just come for a show. They eat at our restaurants, shop at our stores, walk our streets, fueling our local economy. This Performing Arts Center is more than a venue. It will become a cultural anchor and economic driver for East Dundee. We estimate that this will be an $18 million project, and $15.5 million will come from private investment, from us and our partners. We're respectfully requesting a $2.5 million TIF-backed note, which will be repaid entirely by the project's own increment. Programming support for the PAC to make sure that it gets off to a good start, and conveyance of the land. Every single public dollar will fund civic-facing elements: the Performing Arts Shell, the Meyer Street Extension, stormwater, and the public plaza. Not a dime goes towards private residences or speculative retail. This is a partnership, not a subsidy. So let's talk about the numbers, because I think they tell an important story. Today, this parcel generates modest tax revenue, just a few $1,000s a year. If it remains as is, over the next 23 years, it's projected to contribute around $434,000 in total property tax value. I think that's a lost opportunity for East Dundee. Now, if you look at the impact, if we activate Heritage Station by redeveloping this block, we project more than $14.5 million in new tax investment over that same 23-year period. And when compared to our request of $2.5 million, that's a 6-to-1 return on the village's investment. So instead of a stagnant site, we're unlocking a long-term revenue engine that strengthens East Dundee for decades. So why Sitewell? Why us? Well, one compelling reason, we're already here. Suzanne and I live here. Our home is about 5 blocks that way. We chose to raise a family here. Our children have all been educated in District 300. We've spent the last 2 decades investing in projects that revitalize communities. We've repurposed older buildings into meaningful places that have become part of the fabric of our community. Emmett's Brewing Company, Sinclair Suites, Kildall House, Pacho Loco, 124 Lofts. We're not out-of-town developers parachuting in for a return. Instead, we're building for legacy. Heritage Station isn't just another project for us, it's personal. It's part of the story that we're writing for this community. So for the next steps, we're here tonight to seek your approval to authorize the village staff to begin to enter into an agreement, to begin negotiations towards a redevelopment agreement. Also, in the near future, we'd look to engage the community, gathering valuable input that this project needs. We'll also take the near future to finalize our team. We'll continue the good work we've already started with Studio GWA, our architectural partner on this project. And we'll start engaging our trusted construction and capital partners who've developed complex mixed-use projects just like this. We'd hope that by this time next year, we'll be very close to breaking ground, and we would look for full activation in the summer of 2028. We're ready to move quickly and collaboratively with the right people at the table to bring this vision to life. Heritage Station isn't just about buildings. It's about giving East Dundee a heart, a place where art, commerce, and community meet. We'd be honored to build it with you. I'd like to thank you all for the opportunity to present our vision. If there are any questions I can answer, I'd be happy to take them at this time.
It looks awesome.
Thank you.
One concern, you have the garages for the townhomes.
What's there garages for the town?
Townhomes have garages for the cars. But the apartments and the hotel, or Airbnb, whatever it is, we don't allow overnight parking on our village streets. And there's no parking accommodations for public parking on this property. It's not, a deal breaker, I don't think, but it's something that needs to be considered when you finalize your design. I'm sure there's things we can do, but something to keep in mind.
We presented 3 different site plans that have different parking configurations and considerations. Our primary goal in each of those plans is to make sure that the residential components can self-park in the development, meaning there's sufficient parking to cover, let's say, permanent residents. Depending on which site configuration is most palatable to the village, there are different ways to engineer the parking. One of our site plans does have kind of an alleyway with on-site parking, which could accommodate boutique lodging guests and certainly some of the rail flats residential component. It really depends. We view this as a collaborative process.
Absolutely.
I think having worked in small towns for a long time, there's always the perception that parking is a problem. And I think the village has taken significant steps recently with the parking deck. And I think what that turns into really is less of a parking problem, more of a management problem, whether that's designated zones for employees. Oftentimes, I've had many of employees over the years, sometimes we take the most favorable spots and make the guests walk. So I think with zoned parking, timed parking, a lot of these problems can be adequately addressed.
Does anybody else have any questions?
Yeah, I got a couple.
Sure.
Andy, thank you for making this presentation. It's a beautiful looking project. That site, I was looking into it, is in a 500-year floodplain, and I'm not sure exactly what restrictions will go into that, but I do have concerns for the residents surrounding it to make sure that we do our due diligence to make sure that they're not affected by anything built there, because I'm personally in a 100-year floodplain myself. So every time you build in something that floods, it goes somewhere else. So just want that consideration taken in place so that we're not moving any floodwaters into any of the surrounding residents.
Of course.
And then the second thing is, I wasn't on the board at the time when this went for RFP, but there was a comment made that this would be prevailing wage, this project. And as I read through it, I just want to make sure, are you committed to building this whole project prevailing wage, or just parts of it? Or what is your plan when it comes to labor?
We're at the visionary stage right now, and it's really tough for me to answer. We know decisions that'll be made over the next 5 or 6 months are going to impact the size, the scale, the scope. What's here is a vision of what can be. Having been through this process before, I know sometimes it's collaborative. Certain aspects shrink, certain aspects get larger, and all of those will have an impact on the P&L. And they're all things that we will take into account as part of the due diligence and the process of making sure it's a financially viable project.
So as of right now, like, your budgeting did not take into fact prevailing wage?
We have gross square foot numbers that we've used that are adequate for this stage of a development. As we start to ratchet things down and take into account things like prevailing wage, we'll have to see how that impacts the project.
I would love to see your project make it, but I just want to make sure there's labor harmony and the people in this community's wages are not affected adversely by it. This is not a free project per se. It's not free market. We're getting $1.1 million in land and $2.5 million in TIP. So there's a significant investment from the community. I would be looking for a commitment to make sure that community is not adversely affected labor-wise in this project, okay?
I believe those things will all be negotiated in a redevelopment agreement, and certainly the items that are important to the village will be addressed and through that process.
Not exactly what I'm looking for. I'm just looking for a straight answer.
Well, I'm just giving you an honest one right now. It's hard for me. It's hard for me to commit when numbers are still very visionary.
Kathleen, you got anything? Anyone else?
Yeah, actually I have. Thanks for considering East Dundee for your next project, potentially. And having enjoyed some of your other projects that you completed for the 20 years, and most recently probably the El Pato Loco. Excited to see what you could potentially bring to East Dundee. With a lot of those with most of those projects, those were existing historic buildings that you've rehabilitated and repurposed. It looks like, whereas this is, all new build, the only two, the Clarendon Hills and the Palatine project, are those new builds to look historic?
They're both new builds. Yeah.
So you've got that kind of whole
From
thing under your
from
belt.
dirt, soil remediation.
Yes.
We've been through all of that.
Okay, all right, great, thanks. I wish you luck and look forward to trying to work through something that can bring your vision to East Dundee, because I think it aligns with a lot of what we would like to see as well, if we can make the deal work.
Thank you.
Yeah, I'd like to comment that it's, thank you for the proposal. It's very different than most proposals we get. This actually took a lot of thought and design that went into matching the community and that feeling like it's historic and matching brickwork and details and making a space. So definitely makes a big impact in this proposal, that it is something that would make Dundee more memorable and isn't just starting with spreadsheets and maximizing return, but making something magical. So yeah, very little concerns on the aesthetics. Love that there's several, like the 3 different options for different ways to adjust things. One question was if you've, I think it's probably for later, but there was discussion at the last meeting of possibly extending the block so that you would have more space, like connecting over towards Tequila Valves and closing off that cut through. Have you thought about or looked at that yet, or is that something totally new?
Well, thank you for the question. I know when I spoke with Erica about a week or 2 ago, she had indicated that there was a discussion underway. Our architectural design team, one of their specialties is urban planning. And one of the things we would look forward to would be really analyzing what can be and what should be on the site, and making sure that's balanced with what the village's needs or requirements are. So certainly there would be a desire on our part to dig in and see, maybe sketch out some concepts of what it might be.
Great. And then also love the idea of the kinds of shops, and that you're committed to curating and finding things that would also be an investment for you, to be aligned in that vision of creating shops that we want in the downtown. It's kind of hard to, from our seat, make sure that things go in that are very pedestrian friendly and build the downtown. So it's great that you are aligned and invested in that same thing.
Thank you. We do have 20 years in the trenches on the operator's side, and I think we bring a certain perspective to some of the pain points operators typically have and what's good for them. I think one of the things Suzanne and I have done very well over the years is, we take a keen focus on curation and making sure that uses are complementary. I don't think anyone benefits when you line 3 sports bars up in a row. It's, not all of them will be successful. That's unlikely. So what other uses would be a benefit to the residents, and create a little more excitement and kind of pursue some of the open lanes that are available? So that would be our focus and our intent with tenanting the commercial space.
Awesome. And then one last thought is, there were some options that seemed like they had the clock tower, some that didn't. I do love the idea of of the clock tower or something iconic that, like in this picture, like it is recognizable. Other people, if they have photos in East Dundee, that it's something. I love that the buildings match and feel historic, but also having like a signature key piece, even if it changes to something else. But I do love the clock tower, having something that would be iconic East Dundee.
That was the objective. I think the clock tower really would be a key feature of the development. It kind of anchors that block. It can become a focal point for the village green that, the community's been working on for a long time. Some of its exact placement, I think, is still a little fluid, whether it's a corner or mid-block, as depicted here. We do have a concept on one of the side boards there. Our architects have suggested maybe some kind of a canopy that goes over the Civic Plaza that might be reminiscent of like a rail platform detail, maybe some ironwork, perhaps with a clock or something suspended, but something really without carrying things too far, just a nod to the real history past.
Well, thank you. That's all I have.
Just pretty much echo what Andy said here. I love the concept, and it really fits in with the community. I spent a lot of time looking through this. I showed it to some neighbors and other Dundee residents, and everybody I showed it to loved it. So I think you guys hit a home run here, and look forward to working with you.
Thank you. Us too. We really appreciate everyone's time and consideration this evening. Look forward to working with you.
And then what about D? Andy, thank you very much. Great job. I think it's awesome. I love the clock tower, like you were saying, but also the lodging. We don't have any lodging here in town, so that could be great, especially with that Civic Arts Center and all of our bars and stuff. So
You have bricks right up the river. We met with a lot of success across the river. And I think
yeah, you're right. We do have one Airbnb that's starting up, and weddings seem to be a thing that he's getting a lot of business from. So, yeah, I look forward to it. I hope we can work something out.
it keeps all of
sure we
these
can.
guests who come in need somewhere to eat and visit, and that's good for the local economy.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay.
Wanted to clarify, sounds like we have direction to proceed.
Yes.
Yes,
We have direction to proceed.
agreed.
Great, thank you.
I don't need a motion for that, right? I'm going to move forward real quick. I'm going to jump to C. Motion to approve the ordinance granting special. Can I get a motion?
Yeah, I will move to approve an ordinance granting a special use permit for a restaurant with live entertainment as described in section 157.050 F1 DT of the zoning code for the property located at 311A Barrington Avenue.
Second,
Okay.
if you need it.
Any
Yes.
discussion?
So this is,
This is the
Eastside.
cafe.
For Kate.
Eastside Cafe.
this is here.
East side.
What kind of entertainment are you planning on having, Kate?
Acoustic guitar type,
Yeah,
really kind of chill.
yeah, pretty chill, right?
To what time?
I'm sorry,
To what time?
we close at 10.
Okay.
I believe they said in the packet like 9 would be the latest, which is fine. 'Cause, but yeah, our latest hours are till 10 anyway.
The biggest issue would be the residents above, but they're not gonna hear anything that they don't hear right below them anyway.
Exactly.
Quite a decent
All right, anything else? Roll call?
Okay, Trustee Kudzu?
Yes.
Trustee Mahoney?
Yes.
Trustee Oakland?
Yes.
Trustee Guma?
Yes.
Trustee Sauter?
Yes.
Okay, then can we do D also? Can we entertain a motion for D?
I'll move to approve an ordinance granting a Class E1 liquor license to Taqueria by Polaria El Tio Ramos, Inc., and amending section 116.05B of the code to increase the number of Class E1 liquor licenses.
And they're here also, but, yeah. Do we have a second or?
Second.
Okay, Matt, second it. Any questions, comments?
The owners here?
Yeah, they're here.
Hi. Welcome.
Hi, how are you?
Welcome to East Dundee.
Thank you. My name is Raimundo Ibarra, and I'm representing the owners, Mr. Ramos and Ms. Maria. Lucia is usually, she's on vacation, but helping them to translate. First of all, we're at the Taqueria and Polleria in 1011 Main Street. This will be the third business for the owners. The first one is on West Dundee, has been there for 7 years. We definitely are a family-friendly business. Like to work with the community, helping to support on whatever they come and ask us. And also they have in Palatine for 2 years. I'm the one in charge of Palatine. And since they opened the business on the both businesses, we haven't really have any issues. We adhere to the policies and procedures of the liquor licenses. Try to stay, on it, because it's something that our business kind of needs, just to kind of have the people we have a lot of contractors coming into it, after a hard day of work, they like to have a little drink with their food, meal. And always stay focused on making sure that they live the same way they came into our business. So, and also we're always willing to work with the community. We always offer to provide any kind of support on any events. We usually we are with Mr. Dukes on the yearly charity for the church, the Fat Valley Church, and if there's anything else, we're always open to help the community and stay in business. But they like East Dundee too. It's a new place down there, so hopefully it keeps growing.
Good food. Okay.
Thank you.
All right, thank you.
Thank you.
Anything else?
Okay. Trustee Kudzi?
Yes.
Trustee Mahoney?
Yes.
Trustee Oakland?
Yes.
Trustee Guma?
Yes.
And Trustee Sauter?
Yes.
Okay.
Thank you.
Let's go back to B, a discussion and direction regarding the downtown parking work group's recommendations.
Hi again. So I'm just presenting on the downtown parking work group's findings and recommendations. In January, the board instructed staff to look at downtown parking kind of in its entirety. So we created a work group consisting of business owners, property owners, staff, and residents as well. We met 3 times between April and July, and we did, kind of a walking tour, met at the depot a few times, and really looked at the inconsistencies of whether it's signage enforcement and the code itself and how that all's talking or not talking to one another. So I'll kind of gloss over the areas of need. So the work group, first couple meetings looked at, okay, what are the areas of need, what are the potential issues, and then we went into recommendations. I'll lean into that more here in a second. Areas of need, really one of the biggest conversations that was consistent throughout was lighting, or the lack of lighting. Parts of downtown, especially near Meyer Street, and like where Duke's is and the fence there. I know we were just talking about the redevelopment, and so the work group understood that the lighting would change over time. That area will change over time, but what strategies can staff come up with in the short term or middle term for lighting? So that was the biggest one. There was also a vehicle blind spot that was identified on North River Street and Jackson Street, kind of on the east edge there, especially when big trucks and vehicles are parked there. It's we actually walked down there, and it is quite a hazard. So that was one of the key recommendations there. And then just overall safety concerns on North River Street. So for the recommendations, I'll kind of just open it up if the board had any questions, but the first 3, this is in priority order. The first 3 I wanted to highlight was the strategy of increased lighting. For fixing that blind spot, it was an either-or suggestion of either restriping 4 stalls to compact cars only, or creating a stop sign only going southbound towards Main Street. And then also there was the suggestion of a curb color coordination program, putting color on the curb, like red for no parking, green for time restriction parking, et cetera. Public Works did voice a concern on that of just overall maintenance and look of that, but that was a recommendation that the work group wanted to bring to the board. And then also the code, as we mentioned in January, the village code is a pretty lengthy table that's confusing and a lot of, appeared to be a lot of gaps. So the work group touched upon that briefly, but so I've been working on that kind of at the same time, and we have been adding things kind of mirroring the conversations that were taking place with the work group as well as staff. So that, I guess I'll just say one thing and then open it up for discussion. The code that you see in the packet is just a draft, but it's so large and lengthy that we wanted to bring it up in this discussion so you could we could start getting our heads around it, and then we can, the idea is with the board's approval, we would bring it back in ordinance form on the 18th. So with that, I'll open for any questions.
Yeah, just first comment on the chart and the graph with all of the different areas. I understand that this would need to be in the ordinance eventually, but I think a map illustrating, a color-coded map illustrating these areas is going to be a lot more effective for us to be able to judge, for you guys to be able to react, and for people parking in the downtown area and businesses to understand what is available, what isn't available, so that it's easily enforceable, usable. It's a lot more user-friendly. So if there's a way that we can adapt this into a visual, map, that would be really helpful, because I just heard this one take an audible gasp when he looked at it. I've looked at it before, and it's like, please, it's just blinding. Love your ideas for the cyclist parking. I think that's really good. And for some of your other suggestions, I think they're well thought out.
Thank you. If there's one thing I can add to that, so staff, and this was kind of happening before the work group, but we have been taking initiatives, like staff created this this kind of front-facing map that anyone can grab if you're interested. So that was the first step to try to make this more visual. We do have our GIS maps, a parking dashboard online now, and so we'll continue to grow those tools.
Great.
And we can also try to look at creating a map that we can bring back to the board as we continue to look at this new code, this new ordinance. But the chapter 72, the code is this table form. So what would be passed, unless we wanted to change how the ordinance looks, would be a table like this, and then with anything that's taken out, with things struck through, and then things added in would be double and underlined. So we can try to figure out other tools to digest this information, but the table would be there regardless.
Thank you.
Thank you.
The table. I just want to understand the scope of this, because I thought that this was like a downtown discussion, but I see like Michigan Avenue on here. I see that's highlighted or bolded and underlined. I see South Van Buren Street that's bolded and underlined. So what are we trying? Are we trying to change all this?
So when we kind of opened up the code, and we kind of mentioned this in the January meeting, but the more we looked at it, the code overall had a lot of, there's two big things to look at. One, there's the typos, the things that are like easy fixes that we're trying to identify just because we're combing through it now. The other one is, like you'll see, like South Van Buren Street not listed in there, but then we have signs out there saying certain things already. So what we tried to do, yes, the conversation was all downtown, the work group was all downtown parking. We kind of, since we were already involved with it, we just kind of kept going code, strictly talking about the code. We wanted to just to clean up the code in its entirety so we could just be done with it after the project.
Okay.
So basically what we did, using, Deputy Chief Ritter, Phil Cotter, Director of Public Works, we worked extensively together. They were also part of the work group, and what we're currently enforcing and what signage is currently out there, we tried to bring that into the code.
Well, I don't think, we want to say that we're going to have no parking on either side of Michigan Avenue, ever.
Okay.
I don't think that's what we want.
Yeah, it's currently open on both sides.
Okay.
We could maybe say one side, we've tried that,
Okay.
but I
Yeah.
don't think we want both sides shut down permanently, or else Rosie's is going to revolt.
You think?
And now that you're bringing that up, there's also the whole winter parking scenario
Correct.
too, that I think we need to address, resolve, come up with a solution, and that needs to be included in here as well if we're really
Mhm.
taking this much of a deep dive at it. Because right now, it might be in here, but I didn't really see anything about the winter parking that we were kind of looking at.
So it's
solutions.
at the very bottom of the table. So
Okay.
we, another aspect of this is there's like certain pieces of the code are in different sections, not the table.
Right,
So
yeah.
there's amendments that are somewhere else, and so we brought all those amendments into the, sorry. No, it's okay. So those amendments,
there.
we brought into the code as well.
Yeah.
So now, like, we didn't take them out of those sections, but now
Oh, I
it's
see it
all
down here.
together in the code is the idea. So a resident, anyone can come to this table, even though it's very dense, and be able to see all the information
Got it.
there. So that's kind of what we're striving for. And Trustee Kunze, I will be the first one to, that's why I put draft at the very top in yellow. This is
Right.
definitely still a work in progress. We thought it was the right time to bring it to everyone, so we could bring things like that to the table, make corrections, figure out how, like, we can adjust all aspects of our policies.
Yeah. Two things I'd like help with. One, it shall be unlawful for rideshare vehicles to pick up customers in the downtown business district unless they are within one of these designated rideshare pickup locations. And then it has some locations. I mean, we want to encourage rideshare, I think, as much as possible.
Mhm.
Is there a way, what are we trying to avoid, I guess, with that kind of limitation?
Well, so that was something the work group talked about. There, I know we had that like little stretch of ride shares by the gas station on Main
Right.
Street, and I think that's
It didn't work at all. By
it-
Banditos, it
yeah.
didn't work at all.
So I think those signs have been taken down, and so we talked about that in the work group, and they did not recommend, I think it's in the memo, they didn't want to recommend doing that again. But what we can do, and I've reached out to Lyft and Uber, and I talked to Uber, but companies themselves, restaurants themselves can create geo-fencing, like they can work in partnership with them to create areas where those drivers go automatically to those areas, kind of like how the airports work.
Yeah.
So that's another thing that the village could consider is trying to approach these companies on behalf of these businesses and create little sections in the town. So that was the idea there, like instead of just that one section all the way south of downtown, it could be one north, one south, one in the middle. Like we
Right.
would still need to figure that out. So
Well,
that's
yeah. I just want to, I guess in the final draft, I just want to make sure that we're not trying to make it harder for the ride share.
Yeah.
That we want to encourage it. Inside of the recommendations, there were two things. One, amend code 7011-1303 to add recent no parking, stopping, standing at any time regulations on Ravine Road. Now that's not in the downtown. Is that a mistake? It shouldn't
No.
be Ravine Road, or are we just saying?
that was one thing that we specifically wanted to highlight because that would be one of those things that's an amendment that was recently added because we added signs along
Yeah,
Green Road.
right.
So we want to add that into the code itself.
Gotcha.
Got it.
Yeah.
And then the other thing, what are we trying to say about 4th Street? Previously unstriped areas where people park,
So,
such as 4th Street.
yep, on Barrington Avenue, they're like on 4th Street right next to Eastside Cafe, kind of like just north of Barrington Avenue
Yes.
there.
Yeah.
There's no lines there, but
Right.
cars park there all the time.
Yeah.
So the idea would be to highlight these areas that the work group talked about and
Maybe say only
identified.
one side.
Yeah, well, so yeah, exactly. So there would be, we'd add signage in those areas as well if needed, but it would be striping the area so you can visibly see a parking spot there and not just people parking along the road without any lines.
Yeah. And I also see on the grid, a few times it's noted, overnight parking okay. In our downtown only, is that what we're thinking of, allowing overnight parking in our downtown?
So, my understanding through all my conversations and work is that overnight parking is allowed in the downtown already as specified as you see it in the code currently. So
Okay.
overnight parking is in the downtown. There are streets where it is not. However, one of the recommendations you'll see, I think it's number 10, number 11. So East Dundee already has an overnight parking request program. So even if a street doesn't have overnight parking, residents can already request that.
Yes.
But I don't know if that is very widely known.
No, it's not.
So that's one thing that the work group talked about, is getting that information more out there. But overnight parking is allowed in downtown on non-residential
Yeah, like on River
pockets.
Street and on.
Correct.
Meyer.
On Meyer, I think the spots like on Railroad too, like between North Van Buren and the river, those areas too.
All right.
Can we add that verbiage on signage in these areas, the contact for the 24-hour parking?
Oh, like
Yeah,
contact.
Yeah, whatever it may be, so that people know how to use it easily if they're parking there.
We can look into that and how we want to go about that.
Have you worked with the PD and the fire department with any problem areas in this area?
We've worked with the police department, and Deputy Chief Ritter was involved. I would not work with the fire district.
See if they have any issues
Yeah,
also,
we
any
can-
areas? Yeah, that's all.
I'll call you.
I just wanted to give the fire
Yeah.
department more work.
Did the group talk at all about using street parking to slow down traffic in residential areas where there's cut-through traffic? Like, for example, on Michigan Avenue, we don't have people flying down it because people are parked on both sides. You have to be pretty careful to go through there.
Mhm.
But on First, people go, it's like a 25-mile-an-hour road, but occasionally you'll get people flying by at 45 or 50, just like, because it's wide open, there's nobody parked on either side. But I wonder if that could be a way that we could try to slow down by having more on-street parking in some residential areas where there is room.
Yeah. The work group talked about that a little bit, very specifically to the blind spot on Jackson Street and North River Street, like putting the stop sign there, because that was the real problem. Cars flying on North River. When cars are going east on Jackson Street, you can't really see left.
Yeah, that is a blind corner.
Yeah. So that was number 2 on the priority list for the work group. So, and we also talked about it if like on 4th Street or other streets where, future streets in the street improvement program, that could be a consideration. But it was really just talked about for the blind spot.
And one comment on the lighting on the first one of putting more lighting in the downtown. If we could try to make sure that it's down-pointed lighting and not over-lighting the area so that it's more light pollution, but just lighting what it needs to.
Mm-hmm.
Or if it's
Motion sensor.
motion sensors, so they're low and then they go up higher when there is motion. I'm very concerned about a lot of the light pollution. Andy, were you finished with your comments?
Oh, yeah, go ahead.
I also had actually, this brought up overnight parking request program for in residential areas.
Mhm.
I believe right now, I was talking to a resident, kind of in the Flats area, and, with, concern about the number of, I think it's a maximum of 7 nights a year that, a resident can request overnight parking.
Yes.
Is that true?
That is true, actually, because I had to park on the street for my driveway getting done, and I actually got a ticket because I ran out of days.
Okay, yeah. So I'm just wondering if, and I can put you in touch with that resident, and obviously you know how to get in touch with Scott, but if that can be, they were finding hardship with that number of days, with, teenage and young adult kids at home with having friends over night and whatever. So if there's a way that we can either increase that or give a little bit more leniency in some areas, and if there is an issue with it being a safety issue with it being too crowded, for them to have it more than that in that specific area, to give some guidance on, where they could potentially park a little bit, further off, so that there is the access points needed by fire department and that kind of thing.
All right.
With
Um,
the, go ahead, Scott.
No, you go ahead.
Okay. With the overhead parking, was there like a lot of, overnight parking, was there a lot of abuses for people using it for over 7 days? Do we know this, anybody?
I can't speak to that. That hasn't come up.
It's-
But yeah, go ahead.
I just feel like if someone's gonna call it in every night, they need it. Like it's just needed. And I could only assume, if I had to do it, that I would be like, I'm really sick of calling in overnight. I'm gonna find out what to do with these vehicles.
Well,
And if you have
Matt,
someone,
you don't have to call every night. If you go on the website, you could say, from this date until this date, I'm
Okay.
going to park on this street.
oh, and then 7,
And,
but that's,
and the 7 is the most you can do, but, yeah, you don't have to call every night. So if we make it, say, unlimited, somebody could conceivably say, I'm gonna park there from January 1st to December 31st. So I don't know what the right answer is, but,
Yeah.
now is there a way we could limit it where it's, you gotta do it daily or something? I don't want unnecessary burden on our public residents, and I don't want people to be like, I can't park there, so I'm going to, someone stayed out too late or whatever, got intoxicated, is gonna try to drive home because their car can't be there. Because it's different when a car can't be there. So it's not like it's parked where it's, someone is calling an Uber home,
Yeah.
their car's in a safe spot, we're saying it can't be there, it's gonna get ticketed. So I just don't wanna see that happen.
Yeah, and that's a great point. I mean, that was the whole start of our work with the parking code, was the overnight regulations and the worry of people driving when they can't or shouldn't, and so there is overnight parking areas. There's 3 parking lots currently in the code where you can park, and then the other number 5 would be 311. The work group suggested making that a 24-hour lot behind DC Cobb's and Eastside Cafe, and yeah, down there. So that's in the current code table that you see.
Yeah.
So we would there would be 4 at that point, parking lots, or 4 or 5 where you could park, and then we would just get that out to residents, but you can park overnight there.
yeah.
And I like the cyclist parking idea, and we talked about a while back, on 72, telling people to go down River Street by Maiden, by Hager, those 2 big lots that aren't needed for our downtown traffic, as long as they're just parking for the day, riding. Like, I'm a cyclist, I wouldn't care if I parked further from downtown, and you probably will ride into downtown and eat still if you're going north or south. But that might be in a good spot if we're allowed to put up clear signage at those 2 big lots to put cyclists at. Not restricting them to it, but inviting them to it.
The lot behind the police station, the recommendation here is to open that up for public parking or employee parking. I thought the police station wanted to use that lot. for their own uses.
Yeah.
Yes,
By the garage.
the grass lot.
So that was a concern, that was made known where Deputy Chief Ritter mentioned that there would be some things we need to figure out if that did open up to the public and not just staff.
I do
Fence
love
lines.
the idea of off downtown flat lots, if we're going to have flat lots. We do have another lot at, 408 Barrington. It's a little bit of a walk from our downtown, but it is there and we own it, and can conceivably be a parking lot. Just a thought.
Talking about the old pump station.
Yes. I mean, it's a walk, but it's not as far as, I think if you were going to DC Cobb's, that would be closer to park there than it would be at the parking garage, maybe.
I'd rather
Right.
sell a property.
Equally.
Let's sell the property.
It's probably closer.
What's that?
I'd rather sell that property than so we can get some tax.
I don't really, I mean, I like the outside of the box thinking here, but I thought I think that would require improvements based on our current ordinance, because I don't believe there's parking allowed on grass lots.
Oh,
No,
you'd have to
I
pave
would,
it,
I would say that would be part of the plan, would be to pave it,
Mm.
for sure. I mean, it's big enough that we could put a park, half of the lot, and a parking lot, the other half of the lot. I think dog park, dog parks, something like that. Just a thought. Obviously, be a long time.
Anything else?
In terms of direction, is there, kind of just keep going on each of these? And
Well,
I had one thing, I agree with trustee Coonsey about the ride share, not restricting them. There's also a lot of residential mixed in with our businesses downtown, and, if I'm going to the airport, I don't wanna have to walk 2 blocks with my luggage and find a ride share, so. That's what I think about restricting the ride share.
I think we have enough direction to incorporate sort of the ones that are maybe phase 1, low hanging fruit, and then come back with some maps that everybody can digest, sort of phase 2, more complex implementation.
Is paving that, what is it, 17 Railroad Street an option or something we could look at for next year? The one back here by the police
Oh,
department?
behind the police department?
Instead of a
we've
gravel.
talked about putting like a permeable brick or something there that, could be used, but again, I thought that we were saying it was gonna be for the police station specifically because they desperately needed parking, so I just wanna make sure that we are taking that into consideration for our.
So let's just talk to
You guys need
Erica.
parking?
And village employees was the idea as well.
Yeah.
Okay. Where does everyone park now?
Try to fit in with this back here as best we can.
How many spots are there?
Not sure if we have
I was just talking to Erica, what we could do is create that card like he was showing of all the other parking in the area instead of right downtown. And our depot guys throughout the day can go put them in windshields, all the cars with bike racks and things. Just driving around today, there was a ton of people unloading their bikes, taking up prime real estate when they could park in the garage or wherever else, so we'll move forward with that.
We'll do a little more research on the police lot issue and see what we can come back to you with.
Maybe covered parking.
Is there a way to, if any new parking restrictions are on a road, if we can inform the residents before they go in place? So that if they have a concern, they can speak out, because they're gonna know their home better than anybody else.
Sure.
All right, thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you. Whew, all right, moving right along. That brings us to E. Discussion direction regarding separation of the village's current insurance broker and consideration of the intergovernment personnel benefit cooperated for the 2026 plan year. Brandis, are you doing this, talk on this?
A little bit.
All right.
Okay. So currently the Village of East Dundee, we have a broker, CMR Benefits Group, that we use to broker our insurance for medical, dental, vision, and our life insurance. They are a private company, and over the last 5 years, our insurance costs have increased, what did I say? Between 2 and 9% each of those years. And we have looked into transitioning our coverage from the CMR Benefits Group to IPBC, who is, they are the Intergovernmental Personnel Benefit Cooperative, and they are a self-insured company who primarily works with municipal entities and other public organizations to provide insurance coverage. They are here tonight to present on their organization, and we are asking for the board to provide direction as to whether or not we can move forward with them. We do plan to meet with our unions individually to discuss the transition, because there is language within the contract about transitioning to different insurance plans, and we just want to make sure that we have their buy-in before we make a final move and before we present the village board and a resolution to transition to IBBC. So we want to kind of get everybody's buy-in, starting with the board first. And we have Dave Cook here tonight from IPBC, and he is the executive director, so he'll be providing an overview of their organization. And then once he's done, I just asked for board feedback on next steps. Thank you.
Good evening, everyone. As Brenda said, I'm Dave Cook, Executive Director of the IPBC, and with me is Karen. You want to introduce yourself?
I'm Karen Williams. I'm a Senior Benefit Consultant with IPBC.
Well, thank you. Before I give you a little background on the IPBC, I'd like to just give you a real quick bio of myself so you understand where I'm coming from. I am definitely not a salesman. I spent over 30 years in local government. I retired in 2013 after 23 years at the Village of Hinsdale, the last date as the village manager. Took early retirement, and at the time, IPBC was significantly growing. At the time, we had 68 members. Fast forward, we have 176 now. At the time, it was a part-time job. I worked myself into a full-time job. The reason I say that, because Hinsdale was one of the early members of the IPBC. They have been a member since 1984, so in one way or another, I've been affiliated with the IPBC since 1990 when I came to the Village of Hinsdale. The unique thing about the Village of Hinsdale, if you become one of our members, is that you are going from a fully insured for-profit business into a intergovernmental agency. We are another unit of local government. All our powers, all our duties, everything we do comes straight from the state constitution. If you look at the Illinois Intergovernmental Cooperation Act, Section 6, joint self-insurance pools, that's where everything comes from. And with that becomes a lot of benefits, because we do not consider ourselves an insurance broker or insurance. We consider ourselves a membership organization that provides health benefits. And that is a very unique distinction, because the members own, run, and make the rules for the organization. Blue Cross, UHC, we use their networks, but the members make the decisions from everything from the annual renewal rates, our bylaws, you name it, the members have a vote. Per the state statutes, we are open to any unit of local government, which basically is anything other than state government. The vast majority of our members are municipalities. Some of your local members right across the river, West Dundee, Carpentersville, Barrington, Hoffman Estates, Algonquin, Lake in the Hills, Crystal Lake, Cary, just to name a few. Excuse me. we believe very strongly in having good governance and part of our policies, and we understand that we have a fiduciary responsibility to every one of our members. We have a very strong leadership program. The executive board of 15 members elected by the membership run the day-to-day activities with my supervision, supervising the staff. But we also have 3 standing committees, finance, operations, and membership development. And why do I say that? Because if you, we only allow each member to be one portion of them, so at any time throughout the year, we have 16 members actively involved in the leadership of the IPBC. The IPBC advantage, and you can take that top up there and circle it, because if it wasn't financial stability and predictability, there'd not be an IPBC, period. We are here to provide our members with the most cost-effective, thank you, cost-effective means of procuring your medical benefits, but also providing the top-notch service, and I'll let Karen talk a little bit about that. Some of the interesting things about the IPBC is we believe full disclosure, transparency, and access to data. We do not care if you're our smallest member, the Village of Trenton, Southern Illinois at 10 members, or you're our largest member, Lake County, with 2,800 members. We treat every member the same. They get the same monthly reports. They have access to the data. They'll see their monthly aggregate loss data, but they'll also be able to see the loss data of every other member in the pool. They are published on our website. And why we do that? Because we share risk. It is a pool situation. With many of our plans, we have flexibility. We can make changes, not like having to move from what I call one cookie cutter plan to another cookie cutter plan. But the benefits of pooling are big. We currently cover over 23,000 employees and retirees across the state of Illinois. When you add in total dependents, that's over 56,000 people that we cover. With that comes a lot of advantages. When we go out to bid, I'll give you a quick on a couple items. One being life insurance. You'll see that in the quote, the rate for your life insurance, which isn't one of the biggest items, but it's just one of many, is reduced down by almost 2/3. That's the value. I say it's not a lot different than buying rock salt off the state bid. Health insurance, in a lot of ways, volume matters. It counts. One of the things we do, whether you take whichever medical provider, we'll talk about that in a minute, you choose, we carve out our prescription drugs to Express Scripts. Last year we did a full RFP, and we have a policy of every one of our vendors that at least every 5 years we do a full RFP on them to make sure we're getting the best price and getting the service that we demand. We have been with Express Scripts for many years. We did an RFP with all the big boys, CVS, Prime, Optum, you name them. We got a 32% reduction in our cost, $78 million savings over the next 3 years. That's because of our growth, because of the position we have in the market. Our staff service team, and like I said, I'll let Karen talk in a little bit. All we do is local government work. We know the ins and outs of municipalities. We understand placebo for your first responders. We know we can talk their annual financial reports. We know the retiree options when they retire. There's a lot of things that are unique to local government that we specialize in, and we do on a daily basis. And at the end of the year, in most years, there's money left over. We give that money back to our members in dividends. I know it's been a long meeting, so I'm going to try to, unless you have some questions here, I'll try to go through them very quickly. But what we do is really protect members such as yourself, they're smaller members. Actually, in your case, really from $1, it is a pooled risk across the board. That first 50,000 claims is shared by members your size. Once a claim becomes over 50,000, it becomes an IPBC-wide claim shared by all 23,000 of our personnel across all our members. That's really important, and actually, as of July, when I need to update the slide, that number, we actually moved our stop loss up to $2 million. We have $220 million in the bank. We are very well reserved. We self-fund that layer. If you understand what that means, if you go out and buy commercial stop loss, for every dollar you're buying, you're paying $1.30. This is just another way where we save our members money. And then we do buy catastrophic stop loss over $2 million. The model, like I said, we've been around since 1979. Its model is tried, it's true. We know it works. And if you look at some of, IPBC was founded by 8 members in 1979. 6 of them are still with us. We have, grown dramatically in the last 10, 12 years. Like I mentioned, when I came on board, we had 68. We now have 176. And literally, right now, I have 21 prospects on my list for the upcoming January 1 through January 1 of 2027. In addition, one of the things I want to point out is that we do put bumpers on the rates. Each member is a little unique, is based upon some of your experience, plus the experience of the pool as a whole, how you get your renewal rates. But in case someone has a really bad year, whatever the IPBC average is, the best you can get is a -5. Let's just say the IPBC average increase is a 5%, makes math real easy. The best a member can get is a 0 increase. The worst they're going to get is a 10% increase. So it provides some extra stability to the members in case they, for whatever reason, had a bad year, and health insurance, that definitely can happen. One of the things that Brandis mentioned, and I did a little calculation before he came in, is that based on the information she provided me, your 5-year trend average was about 7.6%. As you can see, since 2010, the green line below has been the IPBC average increase. The blue line is what medical trend is. Every year, we have been below it. Our 5-year average is 3.7% on the PPO. On the HMO, it's even slightly better, 2% trend over the last 5 years. I mentioned dividends. Our average dividend return on the PPO is 1.8, on the HMO 5.2%. This is the one slide I really would like to emphasize. While everyone likes to save money in year 1, which you will, based on our quote, the IPBC is a long-term investment. That's why members come, that's why they stay. This is just a little generic, based on your size, this will be about a third of this, but if you can, the trick of medical trend is reducing those trends. Like I said, yours is about 7.6. The IPBC is a little over 3 when you combine the HMO and the PPO. The real value of the IPBC is not in year 1, it's in year 5 and every year because those savings just compound every year going forward. One of the things I want to mention too is the only thing that's in our rates, obviously there's an admin fee that pays my salary, Karen's salary, but there are no commissions put into any of our products. That's why when you look at our auxiliary, our optional programs, the dental, the vision, the life insurance, they come at much better prices than you can get in the commercial market. Then in addition, there are things that we add into the program that you don't see in the commercial market. We provide a free complimentary EAP program, including a dedicated first responder program where the chief, I'm sure, would very much appreciate. In addition, we believe very strongly in wellness. The wellness program, if you have a health, I was talking to the president, his wife works for Carpentersville, and they have an annual health assessment. The IPBC pays for that. We believe in wellness. We'll reimburse up to $135, which is the cost of the health assessment plus the flu shot. And then based upon your participation, you can get $100 to $400 back to the community to use whichever way you want. Some will split that with her employees. I just had the village of Lombard take up about $45,000 to overhaul they have a gym in their complex. They're completely overhauling it. It's your choice. The money comes back to the village. Our benefit options on medical, Blue Cross and United Healthcare, I mentioned Express Scripts. ComPsych is our EAP provider, Delta Dental, obviously dental, Securian Life, our life insurance, VSP, WEX. We really, the only reason I mention this is that we can be your one-stop provider in everything we need. Kind of mentioned all this, I'm gonna skip by this one. Technically, the only two products, if you join the IPBC, is medical with prescription drugs and life insurance, but because of the pricing of our voluntary products, almost all our members who offer dental vision programs take our programs. Our service partners, as I mentioned, we have a very strict policy that every 5 years we RFP every one of our partners to make sure we're getting the best price, the best service. And these are some of the best groups in the Chicago area. Milliman, who wrote the book on health insurance underwriting, is our underwriter. One of the things I did want to mention in the bottom middle there, as I mentioned, we have $220 million in the bank. That money is professionally managed by 3 different organizations. Our fiscal year runs from July 1 through June 30th. We just finished, obviously finished it. We are giving back $14.6 million in investment earnings to our members this year. That's what the money is managed on a daily basis, and we make sure it's one of those unique things in state constitution, but we have more investment authority than municipalities. We have more investment authority than pension plans. We're somewhat conservative. We have about 30% of our money in equities and some other fixed assets and fixed annuities, but our return last year was right under 5%. For local government, this is pretty darn good. With that, Karen, you want to talk briefly about the service model?
Sure. As I mentioned, I'm a senior benefit consultant with IPBC. If East Dundee would come on board with us, I would work directly with your HR department, with your finance department on a daily basis, along with a client service rep that I have with me. We have 12 people on our team. When I go on vacation, other people back me up. So we can come out for open enrollment meetings for you. We're there to provide service to your HR department. If employees come to your HR department with situations like claims that they can't resolve with the provider, so we work directly with the provider to get those resolved. We will go over strategies, implementing different medical plans, making changes to your plans in the future. And we can go through the wellness program. We can come out and provide you the information on the wellness program. And we also provide benchmarking, so you know how you are being competitive against other municipalities in the area.
With that, I'll be glad to answer any questions that you may have regarding IPVC, and I hope we can move forward.
Seems pretty cool. Let me understand this. Basically, the advantage you guys have is that whereas, this village with our 30 to 40 employees, or my company, say, with 150 employees, we negotiate with Blue Cross and Blue Shield or whoever with that many people. Whereas you guys, you're legally allowed to do something nobody else is allowed to do and conglomerate with all these other organizations to make this super group of people.
Yeah.
And that's how you gain pricing advantages
There's
through that amount of people.
There's, I get asked a lot, where do you save money? There's a lot of little pieces. As I said, there's no commissions, so a group your size in your plan right now, a broker is getting 4 to 5%. Our total admin is less than 1.5%, so there's a 2.5–3% spread right there. As I mentioned, we self-fund with our money, we self-fund our stop loss, big savings. we take our PBM out to bid and save a heck of a lot of money with
Yeah.
our contract.
I mean-
Our rebates are better, our discounts are better.
It seems like, could you imagine if the entire state of Illinois could join this program? Or how about the whole country? You may have one single payer that could negotiate with these companies. Wouldn't that be amazing?
I understand. Believe
It's
me,
advanced.
I've got a lot of my plate now. I don't need to take on it. another entity, another state.
All right.
Yeah.
I mean, this is insurance for our staff. If you guys,
And I'll tell
it's
you,
saving us money. If you guys feel like it's a good option,
Yeah.
I would.
And I'll tell you, the insurance market is crazy right now. The average increase Blue Cross gave to their full insured book of business on July 1 was 18%. I just last month met with the village of Bethalto on the Metro East side. They got a 29% increase last December from United Healthcare.
Yeah.
The rates out there are crazy. And that's one thing unique about it. Both the Blue Cross and UHC, even though we utilize their networks, we just basically rent them. All we pay them is an admin fee. That's the only thing. Everything, all the rates, everything are determined in-house by Milliman.
So I was talking to Erica, we have people that, they wouldn't be able to get on Blue Cross Blue Shield right away. They would have to go for the first 2 years on somebody else.
Unfortunately, Blue Cross has what they call cooperative regulations.
Right.
And they actually just lowered their number. It used to be 101. They lowered it effective August 1st to 51 members, which are still under that number. But after 2 years, you could have the ability to move back to Blue Cross.
How does this affect people that are going to retire or about to retire, and then they still need to be on this other one for 2 years, and maybe they want Blue Cross Blue Shield, so they'll buy the Cobra? How does that affect them?
If they're going to stay in the village plan, they would have to take the plans that the village has.
That they currently have, though, like the first 2 years they have to go to. What's the first one? Can they ever switch over to the Blue Cross Blue Shield? So let's say I'm on it and I go to this plan with you guys. What's the company now that we would have to go to for the first 2 years? United. I have to do United. So I retire in 6 months. Once I'm with you guys on the Cobra for that 2 years, could I switch over to Blue Cross Blue Shield?
If the village moves back to Blue Cross, then you could move back, yes.
Most Cobras don't last that long.
Right.
I think what you're talking about is continuation
Yeah.
Correct.
for retirees.
Yeah.
Right. Whatever plan that the
You're on at the
that the
time.
employee is on at the time, they can continue that.
Okay, thank you. Anyone else got any questions, comments, concerns?
When are we looking to make the switch?
It'd be effective January 1.
So that wouldn't affect people's deductibles?
No.
I think the only thing I can say is if staff wants it, it's gonna save funds. It's kind of a no-brainer. The providers you use are the same. We have a pool at our work, 52,000 people, and they're the exact same providers. So I love my healthcare, so hopefully it's the same with you guys.
So what healthcare do you have?
Some with the carpenters, so
Okay,
we have,
okay. Yeah, United Healthcare is quite big. I think the
Yeah.
majority of their, the providers that go with Blue Cross Blue Shield probably are with United Healthcare. But we can definitely look into that.
All right. I guess move forward.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
All right. Where are we at now? Motion to F, we're on F right now.
I will move to accept the January 1st through December 31st, 2024 annual comprehensive financial report for the village and police pension fund and place it on file.
I'll second.
Any discussion?
Well, this is the audit, right? This is what we're
Yeah.
talking
Do
about.
we have, you want to discuss it?
We do have our auditors here from Lauterbach and Amen, Sydney Marks, to present a brief overview of our audit. We do not have anyone here from Sikich for the police pension.
Okay.
So like Brandis said, I'm Sydney Marks. I'm one of the audit managers at Lauterbach and Amen, and I'm here to kind of go over the required pieces of communication from the December 31st, 2024 audit. So first off, I would like to thank you guys all for allowing me to be here and to come to present. And I would like to give a special thanks to the team, Brandis and Anna. They are great help, and the audit process requires a great deal of communication and effort, definitely outside of the scope of their normal job functions. So we are very appreciative of all the extra efforts that they have to put in to help us wrap this up. So the first piece of communication I want to go over is the SAS 114 letter. The primary purpose of this letter is just to convey whether there were any disagreements or any difficulties with management encountered over the course of our audit. And so happy to report that there were no disagreements or any difficulties, and that can be found in the body of the actual SAS. And then jumping to the financial report. In the front part of your report, pages 13 to 15, that's going to be your independent auditor's report. And this just states that management's responsibility is to prepare and have fair presentation of these financial statements, and that our job as the auditors is to generate an opinion on these financial statements. So for 2024, the Village of East Dundee, they received an unmodified opinion. This is the cleanest form of an opinion, and that's the highest level of assurance that we can issue. It also states that the financial statements are also free from material misstatements, and that you guys have sound internal controls to cover the financial reporting. So looking a little farther into the report, main thing is the management discussion and analysis. You guys are free to go back and go look at this if you're someone that doesn't like all the charts and numbers, and that's a good place to look. I would start there. So essentially that's just a great narrative of all the finances, and it just gives you a highlight of everything that happened during the year. So if you go to pages 38 and 39 of the report, that is going to be your fund level income statement items. So your biggest fund is going to be your general fund. So for this year, the general fund had about 8.6 million in operating revenues, and Prairie Lake TIF had about 1.7. Another one of your bigger funds is your North County TIF fund. That was about 2.9 million in operating revenues. And all of your non-major funds add up to about 5.7 million in operating revenues. And then going down to page 87 of the report, this is where your notes to the financial statement start. And that's where you can find any of your budgetary information, investments, leases, capital assets, long-term debt, or if you're wondering how we came up with some of the numbers in the actual financial statements, that's a good place to look. And lastly, starting on page 87, this is your required supplementary information. Key thing in this section is going to be your budget to actual reports. Okay, lastly, I want to go over this year's management letter. So this year, for 2024, the village received a budget comment for funds being over budget. And this was the Prairie Lakes TIF Fund, the Christina Drive TIF Fund, the Capital Projects Fund, Street and Bridge, and the Christina Drive Business District Fund. There was a couple funds that were out of compliance. So that's the downtown redevelopment TIF, Route 25 TIF, Route 68 West TIF, and the Capital Projects Fund. And then any upcoming GASB standards. So GASB 102, this will be applicable to the December 31st, 2025 financial statements. This just has to do with updating the footnotes on our end for certain risk disclosures. And then GASB 103, that is applicable to the December 2026 audit. And this just establishes key components of financial reporting and decision-making. And that is all I have. Thank you.
Thank you.
Any questions?
Well, I just want to, you highlighted a lot of things in here, but one thing you didn't highlight is page 10, where Brandis, I assume, and the rest of our staff received a certificate of achievement for excellence in financial reporting. So, congratulations.
Yes, you guys did.
Nice job, Scott.
Congrats.
Nice job. Yes, thank you.
Any other questions? Good job, thank you, guys. All right, let's do a roll call.
Thank you.
Trustee Kunzi?
Yes.
Trustee Mahoney?
Yes.
Trustee Oakland?
Yes.
Trustee Guma?
Yes.
And Trustee Sauter?
Yes.
Okay, we're gonna have to go to a closed session to talk about C1 personnel issues.
Right.
And then we'll have to reconvene back up to an open session. So for everybody that's here, please step outside, use the washroom, stretch your legs, give us a few minutes. I need a motion though to go to closed session.
In the agenda, it says C2, but it should be C1, shouldn't it?
It should be C1, I'm assuming?
It will be for collective bargaining discussions.
Okay,
so
for
it's
C2.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Motion, I will move to convene into closed session pursuant to 5 ILCS 120/2C2 and return to open session thereafter.
Second.
Second by Andy. Okay.
Trustee Kunzi?
Yes.
Trustee Mahoney?
Yes.
Trustee Oakland?
Yes.
Trustee Guma?
Yes.
And Trustee Sauter?
Yes.
Thank you for your patience. Sorry, we wanted to get this done so we can get this moved forward. All right, I'd like to bring the open meeting back to order. Do we need a vote?
You're back in already.
We're back in
Yeah.
open session.
Just like
Okay. All right, and then I will entertain a motion for H.
I will make a motion to approve a resolution authorizing the execution of a negotiated agreement between the Metropolitan Alliance of Police number 453 and the Village of East Dundee.
I'll second it.
Okay. You got a second?
Good. Trustee Kunzi?
Yes.
Trustee Mahoney?
Yes.
Trustee Oakland?
Yes.
Trustee Guma?
Yes.
And Trustee Sauter?
Yes.
Thank you for your hard work on this.
Yep.
Okay, reports. You wanna go first, Kathleen? You're on my left.
Okay, just circling back, regarding, sign ordinance compliance. I didn't mention it last week, but, there is a neighboring community that had a problem business that was just very drawn out with banners instead of permanent signs on their storefronts. And we were pretty strict about it. Things have kind of fallen to the wayside. So the mobile gas station on 25, just a block south of 68, has 2 banners up on its side of its building facing 25. Years ago, they wanted to have a roasted chicken sign up there, but the number of signs that you can have on your frontages are limited based on our sign ordinance. But we did allow them to have a second sign for their roasted chicken, which they don't have anymore. But it had to be a permanent sign. So I don't know if the ownership has changed or not, but there's a towing sign, and then there's a which is in poor repair, and kind of just a temporary banner, and then also a temporary banner up that's also in kind of ratty condition for video gaming. Then also La Mariscara, our favorite restaurant. There's a banner on the north side of the building that is also not in compliance with the sign ordinance. It's hanging, it's drooping, it looks like a piece of crap. That whole frontage of, and I know we've had continuing issues with this business, but it looks like that part is closed, or it's based on everything and all the improvements that have been done in that mall area with the different owners that are behind them. I just hate to see just like one bad thing going on here, and to try and get them to comply with that. And those were just the 2 that I noticed since I brought that up last week. Also, if Chris was going to get me depot drawings for sign, do I need to reach out to him directly for the lights and stuff?
I can follow up.
You what?
I can follow up.
Okay. Okay, thanks. Appreciate it. So yeah, we're working on getting I'm working on getting some new suppliers through my network for the Christmas decorations that the Arts Council is giving up and now putting into the Depot Council. So I'm working on, that's why I need the Depot sizing, and to bring something like that back, as well as, and determine if we want to go to something that's, we buy it, keep it permanent, Public Works, or hire a landscaper to put it up, as opposed to the previous arrangement that we've had the last 3 years or so with the other outside contractors. So we're gonna have some options for you on that. So that's it.
No report.
All right.
No report.
Short one, there was in the past, the open data platform we were talking about for the police department to get on, that was dropped from the budget. It wasn't really exactly what we were looking for, and was pretty expensive. But more recently, with AI and ChatGPT being a very free, usable tool, with just a couple hours of work, we could just export CSVs from finance, Public Works, and crime data, put them on our website somewhere. ChatGPT can easily scan that and then answer just dialogue questions that residents might have, asking anything from zoning to finance and Public Works. So working with Eric on that, just kind of bringing visibility on that is something that we're looking into, and it is something that should be pretty much free.
I love this idea. I'm working on
Yeah.
mad respect for being able to kind of pull that together and also come up with the reasoning usage and really kind of a cost-effective as well as time-saving service that can be readily used by a lot of people. So, thanks, Andy.
Yes, you're welcome. Yeah, maybe next step would be eventually having departments bring, here's the data we have, what would be easy for us to just export, what would we have to redact for privacy, and then coming up with a system to easily export it, maybe yearly or quarterly. But it's kind of something we're looking into, so if you're interested, reach out, and we'll continue to work on it.
Scott?
2 things. Franco I heard a rumor that you're my guy for my Halloween decorations. I just want to say, I will be very disappointed if we don't get a 12-foot skeleton sitting in the chair in East Dundee this Halloween. Whatever else you get, I just want to see that.
We're
on
these. I'd like to see.
Somebody have one lined up? Well, it's up
Are
to
we
you.
stocking Home Depot?
We'll get it and we'll try to see if
I
we
don't.
can
Home
get
Depot has the one
uniform
crawling out of the ground. I mean, okay, but
They're not as
we
good.
might have to go after. We might have to go like aftermarket to get the the 12-foot original. Just
Yeah, I
Just
think
saying.
our depot attendants might have already shared some quotes with.
Yeah.
Okay.
$349.
Uh-huh.
But it's a
Big-
matter, I think the big thing is a matter of just getting it, so
Yeah.
there's already news out about their latest new thing at Home Depot, so.
Yeah.
I don't think it's hit stores yet or online yet,
We'll
but
follow up with Andy and make sure he
Yeah.
uses my credit card to get it.
yes, exactly.
The other thing is the town photo. I would propose, so IML ends on September 20th, is that correct? I would propose we do it on September 21st, which is Sunday. I know we don't love Sunday ideas, but that would be my thought on that. It's a week before Oktoberfest, and I know that we've talked about doing other things at the same time, but I think short of those ideas, let's just plan on doing it maybe by
Get it on
itself.
the calendar?
And so we can start advertising it, because I wanted to start doing that.
Yeah, I think Catherine's gonna put together a quote and a brief memo for the Community Events Committee on August 19th
Yes.
meeting.
Okay.
August 19th.
Okay.
Join us.
Well,
Or we
waiting
will
too
make
long?
sure it's on the agenda.
can we
We're
just
waiting.
lock in the date though? Because I want to start like literally going door to door and like telling people about this, because I know a lot of people aren't on Facebook or not reading the
Emails,
and things like that.
Yeah.
And I just want to make sure people
get it
know.
on the sign.
Did you have a time preference of the day?
I mean, I guess I don't personally, but maybe we talk to who's going to take the picture, I guess is the question, right?
We have the drone person.
Yeah, so maybe check with him and see if if it works for him.
We'll figure it out.
Yeah.
We'll get a date secured so you can mark it.
Okay. Thank you.
And a rain date, just in case.
It is already.
Okay, is that it?
Yes.
Brandis, you got any more reports for us?
I do have something that just actually popped up. So Dave, who just presented, Dundee emails us. He said that the fire district might be interested in transitioning to IPBC as well, so we can do an intergovernmental agreement with them and reach the 50 lives to be with Blue Cross.
Bingo.
Oh my gosh, that's awesome.
But also, I am working on budget, so again, if you have any new initiatives, please send them to me, because we'll be kind of wrapping things up to start doing some of our first runs with the board. And I have met with almost all of our staff members, except for police officers, for our staffing and succession plan. So we will be talking about staffing.
Chief? Joe? Ken? No? Erica?
Just a brief shout out to Chief, Deputy Chief, and Brandis for negotiating the police contract largely. I gave them solid direction on what I was hoping to achieve, and I think they nailed it. And as with all things, there's compromise on both sides. Everybody took it seriously, and I think we came out with a really good result. So thank you for that effort. Also, Brandis and Anna, the audit's a huge lift, and they got it done, and we got another clean report, and that is a big deal. And I appreciate the attention to detail that goes into managing our finances, and so that is also something I wanted to give a shout out to.
Are we now on a real yearly cadence too?
We are, so that's a big deal.
huge.
I'm gonna need a credit card to take people out to lunch and dinner. Anything else?
I have one more and I lost my train of thought.
I'm so sorry.
It's okay.
Okay, a couple things. I don't know if you heard or not. We have a reporter who reached out to me from the Wall Street Journal. Took for a cart ride. He was doing an article on golf carts in town. I don't know why, but he seemed to really enjoy his ride with me. Franco came with me to add any more input that I couldn't answer. I think it went well. It might be a good thing for our town. He'll let me know when he's going to print the article, so that's kind of exciting. I met with the Park District, Dave Peterson, talking about a weather system. They recently went to the Perry weather system. And all of our outdoor events, I'm kind of concerned about having to cancel them, and all of a sudden it's not, the weather isn't bad. They said that when they have their concert in the park, this organization, they have a person that's basically assigned to them too, and they will give them every hour updates of what the weather's doing, specifically right where they're located and stuff. So I talked to Erica, we're gonna look at that maybe for the future budget. Something that we might be able to use for next year, especially with our events growing.
Is that more enhanced than what Phil's been using?
It's more enhanced, and they actually have users, so we could have like 10 or 20 users right to our phone, so it's more detailed than you'll get with any other apps. So it's something that we can look into. There's also the Thor system, which alarms, in the areas if there's lightning and things like that. And then also, I was asked about it because we have the parking lot behind DC Cobb's, and then we also have the garage. I know that's under camera. What about emergency buttons? You see emergency buttons in the middle of the night for people?
We have talked about that when we were building it.
Is that something we can look at for the budget in the future? Is that very expensive? I don't know anything about it. Especially those two areas.
What, are you like in case of emergency?
In case of emergency, somebody
Is it like the blue light? And you hit
The blue light, yeah. Might be something to look at. I don't know what the cost is. It could be pretty expensive, but it's just a thought. All right. Is that it? Now I'll take a motion to adjourn then.
So moved.
Second.
All right.
All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed?
Thanks, everybody. Long night.